From there, Seattle went. Matt mentioned this guy immediately before we got on here with Derick Hall. So you can see here we go from round 1 to round 2 here at the 37th overall pick. Seattle went with Derick Hall. They get some defense, some more defense here. They get a front 7 guy. Derick Hall was a fun story to hear about. You can see in this photo he's wearing the C for Auburn, so you've got a leadership role there. Really high rated athleticism wise on the edge, one of the top edge rushers rated by NFL.com. Had a really fun story about, his journey to the NFL and sort of the resiliency there. So that was just kind of a classic Seahawks pick in my mind. It's always like you hear these guys who have really battled adversity. Seattle seems to like that in terms of character. And Lord knows you need some pass rush with this team, right? I mean, we saw some things with Darrell Taylor. Uchenna Nwosu had a really good year after coming in free agency from the Chargers, but you just need more. You could always use more pass rush. You look at those Seattle Super Bowl teams, teams that went to the Super Bowl, that is, and they had the Super Bowl 48 team specifically had waves and waves of pass rushers. So obviously we talked about it being a passing league, right? You're going to need guys to get after the quarterback, to disrupt the quarterback, make maybe the defensive back's jobs easier. Derick Hall, what do we think about Derick Hall? Derick with 1 R, that is.
I think it's exciting with the addition of Bobby Wagner back to the inside linebacker. I was a little bit more relieved with the linebacker position, and that's one thing I felt like they had a need at. And so seeing them going after an edge rusher like Hall it's just super exciting to me. Seeing a lot of his playback when they were showing it on the draft. It's we need somebody that has that range, the long reach that he does. What about you, Bel?
I don't know if I have many thoughts on this. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Hall ran a 4.55 40-yard dash at the scouting combine and recorded a broad jump of 10 feet and 7 inches. Both of those rank in the top 10% of edge defenders since 2003. So good stats in the combine. Definitely always can use that help. And yeah, I'm excited to see if he takes a starting position.
For sure. And hopefully they can improve on the 30th ranked run defense from last year with the addition of Hall.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that you mentioned that, because that was what I was going to look at next, actually, was Hall is somebody that from scouting can help out in the run game as well. And that was something, I mean, I talked about the 49ers in terms of pass game too, but in the run game as well. Obviously McCaffrey, they get Deebo Samuel involved. This is a team that really struggled against the run. And I know that Pete Carroll mentioned wanting to bring Al Woods back, so maybe they bring him back in that spot. And that's also part of the reason why I thought maybe you bring in Jalen Carter to help clog up that inside part of the defensive line. So I like that you mentioned that, because that's a problem. Seattle couldn't stop the run. I remember that Germany game, right, in Munich. Tampa Bay was one of the worst teams at running the football, and they tore Seattle up on the ground in that game. I mean, you look at down the stretch, that Panthers game they lost, right? Carolina didn't have like a true back at that time because they had traded Christian McCaffrey. I think it was like Donta Foreman. They had like a 3-headed, like a running back by committee, and they still ran over Seattle. Think about that Raiders game. Josh Jacobs run. All I remember about that Raiders game is Josh Jacobs streaking through the Lumen Field
for the win.
Yeah. So you got to stop the run, right? You got to stop the run. You can't let teams get one-dimensional. And having a guy like Witherspoon and Woolen in that defensive backfield, it's not going to matter if the team just got to run the ball. So I like that you mentioned that, Matt. Thank you.